Hi, that's Jade,
And that's Ashley.
and you're listening to
Kill and Chill, the
the
podcast.
podcast. Woohoo!
Woo! So, how's your week been? How have you been?
Um, COVID life. Boring. Has yours been
Yeah,
any more interesting?
my my week has just been ridiculous. Like, for
Good.
some reason, I thought the week that I go back to work, bearing in mind I've had pretty much a year now. Well, no, I haven't lived here a year, but I've had a good portion of lockdown. I thought this week would be the best to decorate. So
Only you.
I know. So poor Connor is currently risking his life, like
But
stood.
she is not joking, by the way. The guy is so balanced precariously on the edge of a banister. I'm so glad I'm not that because I'd be having 999 waiting outside the door for him.
Yeah, if I suddenly go, you know why. So
Yeah,
so he's doing that, and we also had to
didn't
like break.
murder him.
Yeah, promise. This is my alibi, like this
Yeah.
podcast. I was filming, it wasn't me. And not just that, but because Wilco's didn't have any long handle brooms, we had to like break apart our kitchen broom and like fashion our own roller. So
So you like stack a load of brooms together to make a long pole?
no, we've got one long broom with a roller on the end, and Connor's stood on the banister to reach up to the high ceiling.
Oh, jeez. Oh, gosh.
But
Rather him
other
than
than
me.
that, what's that?
I said I'd rather him than me.
Oh yeah, me too. I'm not getting involved. But no word of lie, this morning I had the scariest moment of my life.
Why?
I I was doing my makeup in the bathroom and Connor runs upstairs. He's like, Jade, Jade, and I'm like, yeah. And then he's like running through all the bedrooms, like pushing the doors open, looking under the quilts and the beds. Where's Eddie? My middle son.
Oh,
Um,
gosh.
or my middle
Would be
child.
Eddie.
I know it would be him. We literally couldn't find him anywhere, like
Oh
in
my
the whole
gosh.
house. The other kids were looking like we were shouting his name. We were like panicking. I was literally ready to
I'm
call the police.
surprised Scarlett didn't even know where he was.
I know. It was crazy. She was looking like crazy though. She was like,
She's a little warrior, like, oh no.
I know, bless her. So yeah, this was like dire situation. And then we found him asleep under a little pile of cushions
Oh,
next to the Kallax behind the sofa in my living room.
oh, I'd fallen asleep.
But he'd literally like put pillows
I was
on top of
expecting, knowing
himself.
Eddie, I was expecting him to be a little toad and be like hiding in the cupboard, like, yeah, I'm not telling you. But he
Yeah,
was asleep.
I was imagining all sorts. I was thinking, bloody hell, he's unlocked my front door, he's gone down the road, he's
Gone
taken
for his
himself to the
friends. He's had
park.
enough of lockdown. He's taken matters into his own hands.
Exactly. Well, the amount of times my pets have ended up in my neighbour's house, I half expected that she had him. but, but no, he'd put himself under some cushions. But literally, in those moments, I was like, my life's freaking over.
Yeah.
Like, it was the
Oh my goodness.
scariest thing.
Gone.
Oh my God. My friend always laughs at me for locking my doors because, like, you know what it's like where I live.
Yeah,
Like, nothing really happens. And I'm like, it's always in those places that something happens. You should always lock
exactly.
your doors.
As my
So,
case is gonna show you as well.
oh. So, how has your week been? What's been going on with you?
So like I got bored of TV and I went on a scroll hole through like haunted stuff on um YouTube, and
Oh,
eventually gave it up because it was creeping me out a little bit. Like I could listen to
yeah.
true crime and listen to people getting legitimately murdered. Go to sleep listening to that crap. But it comes to ghosties that you can't even see. I'm like, gonna get eaten in my bed alive.
I did that the other night, and I woke Connor up to come to the
Yeah.
bathroom with me in the next room because I scared myself. And he still doesn't know why I did that. And I'm not going to tell him because he'll tell me off.
It's always like what you used to do as a kid as well. Like,
Yeah.
you know that you're going to watch this horror film and then you're not going to be able to go for a wee, and you're not going to be able to tell your mum that you're too scared to go for a wee because she's going to tell you off.
That literally happened to me. I got a book out the school library about ghosts, and I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. And then I got really told off for like a week because my mum had to come to the toilet with me every time, and she got really pissed off.
But yeah, watching all the haunted stuff, I'd started watching ones about like haunted dolls and things like that.
Oh no.
But I was like, recently I was saying to you that my cat Muffin, he's a weird one anyway, like by no means
Yeah.
is he an average cat. He's just a freak. But the last couple of weeks he's been exceptionally like, what the hell is wrong with you, cat?
Oh God.
Then I remembered I was like going through my camera roll looking for something yesterday. And
Yeah.
I noticed that Muffin has started being weird ever since this doll that I left conveniently in my little sister's wardrobe because she's scary. And I was like, she could eat my sister in her sleep, not me. But I eventually got made to bring it home. And now, old scary Mary, I think, has made my cat a bit weird.
That has literally just given me the chills. I don't like that.
She creeps me out. And then I was trying to show her on a Snapchat, like I was trying to put it on my story on Facebook. And then when I pan the camera around to her, like the camera like flashes and like does weird shit with the light in. And I was like, oh no, you're creepy. So I like put her down in a cupboard, and I was like, maybe she doesn't appreciate the fact that I've put her in a cupboard. Like maybe if she has got something in there, I should try being nice to her. So I've taken her out of the cupboard.
Oh God.
I think Muffin hasn't been that naughty the last few days, so maybe she just didn't appreciate the cupboard. But
oh God.
I don't appreciate her.
Oh my God. No, I don't like this. This
I was
is
like, trust me to
got
end up with a
goosebumps.
freaky haunted doll.
Oh no.
See if anybody else would like her.
Yeah, literally when you move here, please don't bring her with you.
Oh, that's a good idea. When I move to the room, I'll bring her and I'll hide her in one of your cupboards.
No, we'll put her in the neighbour's house that I don't like. We'll leave her in the garden or something.
But yeah, so that was my fun revelation on my doll. And the gut.
Oh my God, that literally has given me goosebumps. That is so creepy.
Yeah, like when I sat and I thought about it, I was like, oh no. I was joking about her being creepy, but oh.
Oh no. I have a creepy doll story, but I actually love her and she's not creepy. So that doesn't make sense. But the reason it's creepy, the reason it's creepy is because I was just browsing in the charity shops and I was looking at her and I was like, oh, I love her. She's so sweet. She jumped off the shelf.
Oh no.
And I was
you
like,
took her home.
I had to. It's Rosie from Rosie and Jim.
Oh, I knew it was gonna be bloody Rosie, the creepy looking thing. I was thinking, I was like, I bet it's that fucking Rosie though, isn't it?
I love it. I love it. But she's been fine. Like nothing weird has happened, but I'm still superstitious and I won't let her sit anywhere weird. Like all looking at me. She has to be somewhere nice. So nothing bad happened. But she was just meant to come home with me. I was literally umming and ahhing, and then I was like, "Oh, she's thrown herself at me." So I'm the chosen one. Oh God! Right, it's your turn to kick it off this week.
Oh yeah, forgot about that. I literally have that bad a memory that I just had to go and listen to our last episode because I was convinced I started last week, but then it was your voice, and I was like, oh, okay, no, I didn't. So this week we're going unsolved.
Yes, we are.
The unsolved. Like, I love a mystery, but it does my head.
Me too. I need closure in my life.
Not knowing, like, ugh. But yeah, braving it anyway. You can trust in being head screwed as to what happened. So I've gone with the unsolved murder of Nikki Allan.
Okay.
She was a 7-year-old little girl who got murdered on the 8th of October in 1992 in Quayside Exchange in Weargarth in Sunderland.
Oh, near me again.
You can't trust anyone.
What are you doing to me? I was just saying it was safe.
Sorry. Right. Oh, this is where it gets a bit sad. So Nikki Allan was beaten and stabbed to death in the Exchange building in Sunderland, which is a like derelict warehouse.
Oh no.
Yeah, she was found having been beaten to death with a blunt instrument. She had also been stabbed 37 times. And it's like, it takes it takes someone to kill someone, but to do that to like a little girl, she was really cute.
I know.
Well, like, I don't know how people do it, but
that's another level.
Yeah, her post-mortem revealed that she had died from multiple head injuries and they had fractured her skull.
Oh.
Yeah, her body was described as being really bruised and just blood spattered. Luckily, one small part that was good is that the police say that there was no evidence of any sexual interference of any kind. So she escaped that part.
Yeah.
Her shoes and her coat had been removed from her and were found near the building, like minutes before people found herself.
Right.
Which is really strange. Like, it's as if she like took off her shoes and hung up her coat and then went inside, kind of thing. But she didn't.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Right.
So then people saw that and were like, wait, what the heck?
Maybe he was like showing it off, like,
yeah, or maybe like so that people knew that she was there or whatever.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, chances are she may not have been found for a while. But following the discovery of her body in Quayside Exchange, which was close to a fishing quay, on the 8th of October 1992 at about 10:40 a.m., the police said that they had begun a search looking for the blunt murder weapon that had caused her skull fractures, but they didn't find anything. And then Quayside Exchange is described as being a burnt out building that's just on the high street and it's just sat there derelict doing nothing. Like, it's probably the usual site for the unsightlies to hang about and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Beyond that, there's nobody in there. During the early stages of the investigation, the police asked all parents to be as careful as possible because they didn't know what had happened or whether it could happen again. And at the time, there had also been like a red car that had been going round and attempting to abduct children like across the northeast.
Oh God.
Yeah. So shortly after her murder, a man confessed that it was him, and he was one of her neighbours. The guy that lived a few doors down, he was a neighbour. But it turned out that actually he was coerced into making a confession. And like apparently it was like the police thought it was him. He seemed like an easy person that it could have been. And they just wouldn't let it go. And in the end, to shut him up, he said what had happened. So it went to trial, but he was acquitted because the judge had refused to um, allow the jury to hear the tape of the recordings of the man's confession as well, which doubly made him look suspicious because it's like,
Yeah,
well, if he's confessed, then you've got it on tape. Why can't they hear it? And it's
yeah.
because of the oppressive questioning, and then they misrepresented the evidence in court by doing that. So the man was
Hmm.
later successfully let go. But then he was
Good.
sued in a civil court for battery of a child resulting in her death. But
Oh,
I don't know what child or whether it was Nikki because it's still unsolved. So I don't know
oh,
why he got sued or how he got sued.
wow.
Yeah.
Well, it might have been, yeah, for her, I assume. Like they were
Yeah.
trying,
Or
yeah,
whether he sued the court for,
oh, maybe.
I don't know. It doesn't say. Um, so in 2016, it was
Yeah.
reported that a girl had been 12 years old at the time and she was babysitting in the area. And she came forward with new information about the murder after seeing the sketch of a man on the television program.
Oh
Like,
my God.
Nikki's case has quite, I think, 3 or 4 times been featured on Crime Watch.
Wow. That's so
So,
long after.
yeah, so the girl who was only 12 at the time, and then in 2016, it took her to, it's good memory skills that,
Yeah.
because I don't know if I would remember. But then I suppose at the time, if you know that in your area a girl's gone missing, I assume it would have been a big thing and you would have known about it. So, like, maybe that's why she remembered. But
Yeah.
after seeing the sketch, she was like, wait, I knew him. Or she knew of him, or she'd seen him. So she ended up calling the tip line. Um, but it doesn't actually say whether that went anywhere. I assume not. Then,
Maybe they didn't know a name or,
no. Um, she might have like known part of a name or
yeah.
in 2017 new evidence from DNA was found and it was thought that it could help identify the murderer. And in April 2018 a man was arrested in relation to a murder and then um, he was let go, but then the man was rearrested again
Oh,
for a murder on the 3rd of May in 2019, but nothing more is known as to what is going on with that.
oh,
Yeah. In August 2020, it was reported that Nikki Allan's mother was to meet with a new bunch of witnesses.
wow.
So where these have come from, I don't know, or where they've been hiding all these years, I don't know. But
Yeah.
Nikki was last seen on the council estate where she lived. Her mum said that they were coming back from Nikki's grandparents' flat, which was only
Hmm.
2 stories above theirs, saying that yeah, they were all in the same, they lived in the same block of flats. And just from the time of her sending her down ahead of her, because Nikki wanted to watch telly. And, back in them days, if you wanted to watch something on telly, you got to be there on time.
Yeah.
There's no pausing and rewinding. Unless you're committed to the cause and you're recording it on your video player.
Exactly.
But
Oh.
yeah, so she'd run down so she didn't have to miss any of her TV program. And the mum,
Hmm.
she looked out the balcony and saw in the quadrangle bit, the square that the stairs go around, I think it's called.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, she looked below and she could see her.
Oh.
But then, however, by the time that the mum had got down the stairs herself, Nikki was not there. And that was the last she saw of her.
Oh my God. As if she was like taken from a building, though.
Yeah. She literally, and her mum was literally on a couple of flights up the stairs and looking down through the like stairwell and could see her coming down the
Oh,
stairs. And then by the time she got done at the grandparents and walked down, that was it. She was vanished. No sight of
that
her anywhere.
is crazy.
Yeah,
God.
she said she looked out the windows. Um, Everyone like then went out searching. She went downstairs and immediately started searching. And they spent like 2 hours searching for her because they were like, she was just here. Like, how the hell, where could she have
Yeah.
gone like that quick? She must be here somewhere. But after not being able to find anything, they called the police. Um, and Nikki had lived in the Weirgarth flats with her 25-year-old mum and her three sisters, aged 8,
Oh.
4, and 2. She went to
Oh.
St. and St. Patrick's Primary School on Church Street East. And the man that was arrested in April 2018 had lived in Middleton Walk near Stockton Town Centre. And witness
Okay.
said that where the guy lived would be in between the places. Um,
Right.
and witnesses have said that they've seen forensic officers in white suits coming and going for about 8 hours, bringing out numerous plastic bags filled with items. He's also the same guy that they suspected and arrested and let go and then arrested again. This is
Right.
him too. Um, so he's still the top suspicious person, and it
Right.
says still to this day he's still like um the flats where Nikki lived are now demolished, but the
Hmm.
man whose details were never made public, um, other than people seeing him getting questioned and seeing the forensics, that's the only reason people even know that he was a suspected person, but he is
Right.
still under investigation, and that's in 2020, still under investigation.
Wow. I'm gonna have to keep up with this one now.
I have been and looked again, and there's still no more updates. Um, they say that Sharon has been a critical part of the police handling of the case and has been critical in keeping everything like going and keeping
Hmm.
them looking for her. She's
Oh.
meant to be hopeful that at some point an end is in sight to the investigation. She said, quoting, I am doing it the right way. I'm working with CID, but it is not my job at the end of the day. I have been going on for too it's been going on for too long without any answers, but I have
Hmm.
to let them get on with their work. Hopefully they will be coming back to say someone has been charged. That's all I'm waiting for. And then if anyone happens to know anything or be from the area, randomly know anything, you can
Hmm.
also still call with any information. You can call either Northumbria Police or alternately, if you would rather stay anonymous, you can also call Crime Stoppers and say that you have information in regards to the Nikki Allan case.
I
But
think you can even do it online now too.
yeah, I think you can on like forms and stuff, even through
Mhm.
like the police as well. So
Wow.
yeah,
Oh,
hopefully the poor mum, it's been like 27 years, 28,
yeah, 28.
28.
Yeah, I know.
Trying to do the maths, and I was born in 1992.
Oh God.
How
Oh
old are you,
God.
Ashley? You're 28. Done. Oh, gosh. But yeah,
Oh,
hopefully at some point the mum gets answers
yeah.
on an estate like that. Like
Yeah.
someone must have seen something. Like whether you don't, like they always say, like even if you don't think that you saw something, like or you
Yeah.
don't think it's relevant, even just report that as well because you never know what could be relevant and what could not be.
Yeah, it's like where I live, I swear everyone knows everything because
Yeah.
something happened with a sheep, right? I can't remember what, but something happened with a sheep, and literally everyone knew who it was.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? Like, that gives me some reassurance though, like,
Yeah.
because I don't want my kids to live inside forever.
Yeah.
At the same time, it's a scary world, but oh, horrible.
Yeah, because that's what shocked me, the fact that it's in the northeast and like
Hmm.
generally, not gonna lie, northeast people, northern people in general, are generally more friendly than us southerners.
Yeah.
Like I know more of Jade's neighbours than I do of my own.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what shocked me. It was just that she'd managed to go
Yeah.
in the flats and nobody saw anything. It's
That's
just,
so sad.
yeah.
Bless her.
I'll put up on the Facebook page a picture of her and I'll put up the last interview of her mum saying about it as well.
Oh, I
Because
will
I found
watch that, but
that
oh, it will be
Facebook.
so sad.
Yeah.
Well, I am doing the unsolved murders of Bible John.
Oh,
So, we will start with Patricia Docker. She was a 25-year-old auxiliary nurse. She was a
yeah.
slim lady with brown hair and brown eyes. Patricia and her 4-year-old son lived with their parents in Glasgow as she'd recently separated from her husband. Patricia had a rare night off. She usually did the night shift at work, so she decided she was going to go on a well-deserved night out before she had to go back.
Yeah.
And on the 22nd of February 1968, she told her parents she was dancing at the Majestic Ballroom. But where she actually ended up going was called Barrowlands.
Oh,
And that had a
that
bit of
doesn't
a
sound that
reputation. That was like, how can I explain it? On Thursday night, it was basically if Tinder was a club. So,
Oh, right.
yeah,
Singles
so
night kind of thing.
yeah, but this made me really freaking sad because it was called Grab a Granny Night, right?
Oh gosh.
No, get this, it was for over 25s.
Oh, that's
Tell
us
me now.
Granny Club.
I know, I'm done. I'm a granny. I still feel like a child.
Can be slippers with my dressing gown and a cup of tea or anything.
Oh, but anyway, how sad.
Rude.
But bless her, Patricia went out in like typical 60s fashion. She was wearing a yellow woolen dress with
Oh,
a grey duffel coat that had a blue fur trim around the collar.
oh, very
So
colourful.
I know. Bless her. But the morning after, on the 23rd of February, Patricia's body was found by a passerby who originally thought she was a mannequin, but he tapped the body with his foot to check.
Oh.
So, yeah. Oh, I know. I know. And then he calls the police, but he thought for some reason, I don't know why, that Patricia was a male. And
Oh.
unfortunately, this sadly meant that the police weren't really concerned because there were so many homeless men in the area that it wasn't uncommon for them to die from the cold. So they didn't think it was an actual crime.
Rude.
Yeah. Eventually, when they come to check out the body, they realise it's female, and soon Patricia's parents confirm that it's their daughter. Her death is confirmed as strangulation with a ligature, but she also had a lot of head injuries, and it's noted that she'd been dead for quite a few hours before she was found.
Yeah.
It's not clear if she was raped or not, but she was on her period, and a sanitary towel was found near to her body, so I assume that she was.
Yeah. Because why would you take? You wouldn't go there with that, would you? Unless you were
No,
going on a reason.
exactly. Yeah. So her handbag and watch were also found nearby in the water, but her clothes were never found. The police did door-to-door inquiries, and all that came from it was that one lady had heard someone shout, "Leave me alone," in the night. And
Oh.
I don't know, this, like, I don't mean to be rude to people, But if that happened, I would be like staring out my window, like, what's going
Yeah.
on?
My
Like,
necks
ring
would
the
be
police.
twitching.
Yeah, exactly. Like, if something happens, like where I live is quiet, but if something happens, I'm there. Like, I
Yeah.
don't know if it's because I'm now officially a granny, but
Exactly.
like, look out for people. Oh
Yeah.
God. But anyway, unfortunately, because her parents thought that she was at Majestic nightclub, that's where the police started interviewing people. But of course, she'd actually been at Barrowlands.
Yeah.
So the police theory is that she was murdered in a car and then thrown out, and her clothes were either taken or discarded elsewhere because there wasn't much blood or evidence at all where her body was found.
Yeah.
So anyway, 18 months later, which is quite a stretch, another woman is murdered in a very similar way. So, although crime in Glasgow in the 1960s was really high and murders were happening almost daily, they
God.
did, yeah, they did eventually sort of realise that this case was similar to Patricia's. So they start to realise the possible link. And on the 18th of August 1969, on a Saturday, Jemima McDonald headed out for the evening. She's 32 years old and she has three children.
Oh.
I know they all have kids. Barrowland on a Saturday was just for dancing. This was not grab a granny night. It wasn't Tinder night. Um, she never usually went out, so she was just really excited to have the break. And she takes her three children to stay at her sister Margaret's house for the night. At around midnight, Jemima was seen talking to a man who was described as well dressed and well spoken with a Glaswegian accent, and I hope I say that right.
Yeah.
Wit- Witnesses couldn't agree on his hair colour. Some say it was brown, some say it was ginger.
Yeah. I suppose there is some shades of ginger that unless you're like like my hair
Yeah.
looks brown unless I'm in the sun and then it's like, oh, you a ginger. But apart from that, like fruits usually just look brown.
Yeah, and like I don't know what clubbing was like in the 60s, but it's never bright, is it? So
No.
yeah. But Jemima is last seen walking towards her house with this man, and the next day Jemima's sister Margaret is getting quite concerned that her sister didn't come to collect her children. Um, and she starts hearing rumours of a dead body being found in an abandoned building nearby.
Oh,
And it sort of flickers in her mind that it could be Jemima because she's not come for her kids. But then I guess it was that thought process of, nothing like that would happen to
oh
us. Like,
yeah.
don't be silly.
Oh
Yeah,
no. She's only
yeah,
just not turn up. Like, don't be so stupid. Like,
yeah. She's probably got a hangover and she's probably asleep.
yeah.
So the next day after that, she really starts to panic and she walks to the abandoned building and sees her sister's dead body there.
Oh my
Like,
gosh.
I know
Why is
how
everyone still just
crazy.
there?
Exactly. Nobody had reported this to the police. It was all just rumours.
Oh my gosh.
I know, like, look out for people.
Like, imagine seeing a freaking dead person
I
and then
know.
having the inclination to like tell Doris down the road, but not tell the fucking police. Like, what the hell?
Yeah, exactly. But it was the 60s. It was a different time, but still, like,
Yeah.
I just couldn't, yeah, I don't know. Oh, but Jemima was fully dressed apart from her shoes and her stockings, which were lying next to her body. The post-mortem revealed that she had been dead for around 30 hours before she was found. And like Patricia, Jemima had been beaten around the head and strangled with a ligature, which turned out to be her stocking.
Yeah.
The bizarre thing here is that Jemima was also on her period and her sanitary towel was found nearby.
What the fuck? How
So,
like sniffing out that people are on their period? Is he like a period kink as well?
well, I have a theory on this that I'll say at the end.
Tries to like go home for a sexy time and then like, no, sorry, I'm on my period.
And that's his green light to go. Yeah. People were questioned, and although they described his appearance, nobody really recognised who he was, which was really strange for the time and place because everyone knew everyone.
Yeah.
But it was noted that the killer clearly had a good knowledge of the local area, and the police released a composite sketch of the suspect, but nobody comes forward. But it does
They,
bring.
some of them though, some of them in bits and composite things that they do, I'm like, does that actually resemble a real kind of human? Like, what is that?
I would definitely recognise that walking down the street.
Yeah, like, that's not normal.
I love looking at them though.
Some of them are hilarious. Like, if you just Google like bad e-fits and bad composite sketches, they're
Yeah,
hilarious. And then when you do the comparison as the actual person as well, and then the picture, it's like,
I know.
okay.
Oh, it's so bad. But the good thing about this composite sketch being released is that it brings Patricia's earlier case back into the limelight. So that's good.
Yeah.
Because, like, although her case mattered, like I said, because there was like daily murders, it wasn't really like,
Shocking.
yeah, exactly. Right, so the third murder is on the 30th of October 1969, and 29-year-old Helen Puttock goes dancing at Barrowland with her sister, Jean Langford. Helen
Mm.
was married with 2 children, and her family of 4 lived with Helen's parents. During the night out, Helen and Jean get talking to 2 men. One of them say his name is John and that he is a builder who lives in Castlemilk, which was quite close by. The other
Yeah.
man also introduced himself as John. He didn't give himself,
Oh.
I know, he didn't give much information about himself, but he was described as tall, slim, well dressed, and well spoken. The first John was talking to
Jewish
Jean.
hair.
The first John was talking to Jean, and John number 2 was talking to Helen. All 4 of them leave a little while after 12, and the first John heads off to catch a bus home, while the other 3 decide to share a taxi. Jean, the sister, lives 20 minutes away and gets dropped home first. No! Like,
No.
no, do not leave your sister in a taxi with a strange man. Do not leave anyone in a taxi with a strange man.
No.
Oh, God. The 60s were too trusting.
Then
Then I
you go,
think the
go
80s
home
come
together.
along.
You on the floor if you can't go home separately.
Exactly. Like the 80s come along and like smashed that out the park and now has made us all paranoid.
Yeah.
Anyway, the taxi driver was later contacted and told police that he'd dropped Helen and John off at Earl Street, which was the street Helen lived on. But she was married though. So, did he say he lived on the same street or something? I don't know. Or maybe he was like, I can walk from here.
Yeah.
But the next morning, her body was found behind a building a few doors away from her house. She was
Mm.
found partially clothed. She had been beaten around the head and strangled with her stocking. Her bag, I know. Her bag wasn't recovered, but the contents of it had been tipped out, and a man's cufflink was found at the scene. She had
Mm.
stains on her feet and shoes, so obviously she had tried to escape.
Run. Something, yeah.
Yeah, she had bite marks on her thigh, and this was the first sort of clue into who this could be because it showed that the killer's front teeth were overlapped.
Oh. Yeah, because like your teeth are just
Yeah,
as signature as your fingerprint.
exactly. Yeah. Helen was also on her period, and her sanitary towel was found under her arm.
The fuck?
I know. I
Oh, what a
know.
weirdo!
I
This
know.
I don't know why, but just the fact that he's got a kink for people on their period just makes it even more.
I know. I have a theory. I have a theory. I can't wait to share this. Helen's sister Jean was interviewed, and she described that he was tall and slim, aged between 25 and 30, with ginger hair. She said he was named John with a last name like Templeton, Sempleson, or Emerson. He was
Mm.
polite and had a Glaswegian accent. Again, I hope I've said that right. Jean insisted she hadn't had too much to drink that night, but witnesses said she was very drunk. No judgment to Jean. Like we've
Yeah.
all said, I know,
You go live your best life.
yeah, it's like we've all said we're not as drunk as we have been whilst
Yeah.
passed out on the bathroom floor. Ashley.
I'm not drunk. I'm never drunk. Toast.
Oh God.
They've never been drunk enough to mistake a tail for a hedgehog.
Yeah, well, no, not me. That was a damn well looked after tail, I tell you. Anyway, back to Jean. All
Yeah.
the witnesses, all the
No
witnesses,
judgment here.
they all described him as having a blue shirt, brown flecked suit, and a watch. Witnesses also described him in a way which would earn him his name Bible John. He wouldn't touch alcohol, judgment from us to you, Bible John.
Yeah. Now I'm judging you. I'm judging you. You freak.
And he said it was down to his strict upbringing. He prayed a lot in the club and also referenced the Bible. And it's like, surely if you're a murderer, you don't want to be
Yeah.
doing things like that would draw attention to yourself. So while everyone's drinking, let me just sit and reference the Bible and pray for you.
Yeah.
Oh,
And like, excuse me, but no amount of sitting and praying in the club is going to help the fact that you is going to hell for being a serial killer.
exactly. I swear it's always the most religious people. Like, I know a man who was a, well, you know what?
Yeah.
And he was the most religious man ever. And it's like,
Hmm.
yeah, yeah,
This-
you want to sort your morals out, mate. Just because you're religious, it doesn't mean you're a good person.
Yeah. Because you know the rules and pick and choose which ones of them you would like to follow and which ones you would like to not.
Exactly.
Down.
It's not how it works, mate. He referred to married women who went dancing as adulterers, and Jean said that he did not want her in the taxi. He literally only paid attention and spoke to Helen. So,
Yeah.
like, oh, I'm sorry, Jean. I'm not meaning to judge you, but why did you leave your sister in the fucking taxi with this man who's
Literally.
like all over her and she's married?
Yeah.
Oh,
Surely that would spark your like red flags to be going off. Like,
exactly. Be a cock block always.
yeah, literally.
People think the reason that he murdered these women was something to do with religion, as he was so disgusted by these married women going dancing. And here is my theory. I wonder if he murdered these women whilst they were on their periods, almost as though they wouldn't be good enough for him if they had voluntarily slept with him. But because they were
Yeah.
on periods and married, he could sleep with them. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So obviously if they said, oh no, sorry, I'm on my period, and then it's like, well, they wouldn't have slept with me, so they're good enough to, because they're not these adulterers,
Yeah.
because they said no. So um it could be that, it could be a fetish, or it could be pure coincidence, like, which I doubt, but it could be.
Yeah. It's like there's everyone in that town only like to get loose on a weekend when Mother Nature's in town, I think.
Exactly. Some people who
Usually
spoke,
that's what deters you from wanting to go out. Like, oh no,
yeah, I
really
know.
not feeling sexy tonight.
But at the same time, though, as a parent who never goes out, if I got that opportunity, that would not stop me.
Yeah, literally, yeah. I'm off.
But yeah, see ya. I'm off to Barrowlands for Tinder night. Oh God. Some people who spoke to Bible John said that he'd been talking about how rubbish he was at golf, but that his cousin had recently had a hole in one. So police started looking at people who'd recently celebrated like a golf achievement, and they went
Yeah.
to over 400 local golf clubs. Like, how many golf clubs are there in
Yeah,
Glasgow?
in one bloody place.
But they came back with no leads. They also looked at dental records and spoke to dentists and interviewed over 5,300 people to do with their teeth, but nothing
Gee.
came of it. Police started hanging around at Barrowlands after that, but they never saw him again. And no other murder in Glasgow ever happened with that same MO. So Helen's sister Jean helped with a composite sketch, a new one. But this one you cannot take the piss out of. Like, it is insane. But it was kind of a bit shit that it was so specific, because people were literally like, oh my God, this person. Like, rather than looking at the features, they looked at the face because it was so specific.
Yeah.
Kind of like a bad thing in a way. But I will put a picture of it on the Facebook Kill and Chill podcast page because it's insane. The police think that the guy must have been a loner who never really went out, which is why people didn't recognize him, and that
Yeah.
he was being hidden from capture by his mother or family and friends. He was also very manipulative, apparently, which is obviously a common trait among serial killers.
Yeah.
And the police took over 50,000 witness statements from people that had been in the clubs and seen them walking home and stuff.
Gosh, that is
I
a
know.
lot.
So we can't say that they didn't do their job on this, to be fair.
I feel like sometimes it screws them up having too much information as well, because then they don't know
Yeah,
where to start with it all.
that is very true. So there's three sort of suspects. In 1996, they exhumed a man's body. He was called John Irvine McInnes, and he had previously killed himself in 1980. And they did this because he had a similar look to Bible John. He had the name John, and he had the crossed over teeth. But he was ruled out as a suspect when they did the DNA.
Yeah.
DNA on Helen's stocking was found, but it wasn't very well kept, unfortunately.
Mm.
There was,
I was gonna say, and in them times, was DNA that great? Because how many cases
exactly,
have we had that come back years later and they've redone the DNA and it's
mhm,
this instead?
exactly, yeah, it's shit, to be honest.
Mm.
There was a man arrested at the Barrowland Ballroom for having a fight with a woman, and police said he looked like Bible John. So he was arrested for having this argument with this woman, but then he was
Yeah.
arrested again and he had to go to hospital for some head injury. But he then escaped, and police never knew who he was after that until a few years later, because the guy had used a fake ID at the police station.
Oh,
Um, I know. And so basically, people started to say, oh, it was John Edgar who, flew from, or fled, not flew, fled from the hospital. That's a whole
yeah.
other thing if he was flying.
He's
Everyone,
flying. Is it a bird? Is it a plane? No, it's John.
it's Bible John. Oh God. um, everyone started to suspect that it was him. So he got pissed off and he was literally like, right, just DNA test me because I'm fed up of being said that I'm Bible John. Like, I am a dodgy bugger, but I am not Bible John.
I ain't that one.
Exactly.
I
I'm
ain't that
not
messed
that
up,
dodgy.
motherfuckers.
Exactly. So he came forward. He wasn't the killer. And the third suspect, this is the one that I personally think it must be him, but
Yeah.
there are people that go against this. So I reckon it's Peter Tobin. Have you heard of him?
Yes.
Yes.
Why do I know his name?
Well, he's currently serving life in prison for murdering three other women.
Yeah.
He was on the sex offenders register for life, and that is because he's committed multiple rapes as well as the murders. So Peter Tobin met his wife at the Barrowland Ballroom in 1969, and then they
Yeah.
moved to Brighton together, and that is when the murders from that killer stopped in Glasgow. So,
Oh.
yeah,
And then I wonder if similar shit started happening
Brighton.
in Brighton, because I
Hmm.
doubt they would have like shared information that far
No,
across.
definitely not. He married 3 times, and all of his wives said that he would regularly rape and abuse them. He was a strict Roman Catholic man who always quoted the Bible to others. Um,
Hmm.
and he also used to give the name, or fake name, John Semple, which is similar to the name John Sempleton that Jean had given.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. That sounds like what she
Yeah,
had said.
yeah. So
It's definitely copied him.
when people saw his picture, a few other women came forward to say that he had raped them during that time period in Glasgow too.
Yeah.
And he had one of his front teeth removed as well, but I don't know what his tooth was like before that. It could have been crossed over.
Ah, so he screwed that by having his tooth out.
Yeah. So they couldn't match the DNA because by the time they tested it with Peter Tobin, it was years and years later and it hadn't been kept properly in the first place. So they had no chance really.
Yeah.
Um, Jean passed away, but before she died, she did disagree that it was Peter Tobin. She doesn't think it was him, but I think it could have been because when you look at the pictures of Peter Tobin from the past, his hair, like you could see why people would mistake it from ginger brown, and he does look quite a bit like the sketch.
Yeah.
So,
I
Pete,
apologise if you can hear Muffin crunching his food in the background. He's just decided to start eating his dry food, and all I can hear is crunching. So I apologise if you can hear that too.
is it you secretly eating like a Kinder Bueno?
I wish.
No. Oh God. Oh, police are still working on this case because they don't believe that the murders that they convicted Peter for are the only ones, because the ones he's convicted for are in his 60s, and there's no way he started murdering in his 60s. Serial killers
Yeah.
usually start in their 20s, which Bible John, well, Peter Tobin, if it's him, would have been in his 20s at that time. So,
Yeah, see, that makes more sense. Because, like, yeah, why would you get all the way to like 60 and then
mhm.
decide, you know what, actually, quite fancy becoming a serial killer today? Like,
Yeah,
surely that's
exactly.
something that goes on all your life or something, at least, or starts early.
Yeah, and I've seen a lot about this religious trauma lately of like how obviously I don't believe that all religion like traumatizes people and stuff like that.
No.
Like if you grow up in a family that is severely religious and you're condemned for certain things and stuff, obviously it can become like a trauma. And
Yeah.
this man said like he grew up.
There's ones where family members have killed their own children over like on their honor killing things.
Yeah, exactly.
A lot of them happen.
Yeah. So I think for that reason, it probably is Peter Tobin. I'll put next to the composite sketch, a really good one, I'll put a picture of Peter Tobin then and now and everything. But yeah, the only thing that's weird is that Jean said it couldn't have been him. Like it didn't look like him, but he does look very different now. Like he's got grey hair and
Yeah, like
so
I feel like you can never know. Like there's people that I went to school with, and I only went to school with them like 20 years ago. Probably. And like
that's
they don't look anything at all like some guy added me on Facebook a while ago, and he was like, "Oh yeah, we went to school," and like I knew who he was and I knew the name, but looking at him, I was like, "You are not him." Like, how
no,
are you him? How did you grow up to be that from what you were? Like, you don't look anything alike. Even the hair color was different, but yeah,
yeah.
you don't know.
And it's like it's a picture. Like if she'd have heard him speak or been in the same room. Not that I'd want her to be in the same room, like that's horrible, but the energy of someone and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
sometimes it's more you don't pick up on necessarily what a person looks like, but like more on their like mannerisms and
Mhm.
shit like that. If you don't really know someone,
Yeah,
you're more likely to notice that kind of stuff than
yeah.
what they really look like.
Do you watch on YouTube like the body language experts?
Oh yeah.
I love doing that for like serial killers and like just genuine suspects of stuff. And like I've been watching the Chris Watts ones the most, even though like I know it was him, it's still interesting to see the body language.
Yeah.
That oh, I love all that stuff.
Yeah, because but then I find if I watch too many of them, I'm like, every time I like look to the side when I'm talking, I'm like, oh my God, now I look like I'm lying. Right, let me readjust my eyes. Like, what am I doing?
Yeah, or if you
If I
remember
oh,
something.
if you look this way, it's truth. If you look that way, it's generally a lie. And I'm like, wait, I look all over the gaff. Have I just got weird wiggly boggly eyes or something?
I know.
I'm thinking,
Oh
I'm like,
my God. The funniest thing happened recently. I was talking to Connor and he said something about, oh, I saw he had been watching like this body language stuff and he spoke about how when you laugh, you look at the person you feel closest to,
yeah.
like to see if they're laughing. Well, I said to Connor, no, he said to me that he had looked at me to see who I looked at. And like we were laying in bed at this point, I was facing away from him. And I literally, he said it was really creepy the way I did it, but I didn't mean to be creepy. Apparently, I turned around and went, I always watch you to see what you're doing. And I didn't mean it in a creepy way, but like when you watch these videos, it's like you do analyze like the way people are talking.
Yeah, you just can't help it, can you?
No. But speaking of eyes being all over the place, have you seen that TikTok trend where you look at a pen?
No.
Oh my God, apparently if you get headaches, you take a pen and you put it on your nose for like the tip of
Oh
the
yeah, I
pen.
can't do that. That's the thing that I've never been able to do. When I was a kid, I have not lazy eyes, but lazy eyes,
Yeah.
lazy eye muscles. I've never been able to go boss-eyed. And like when you like you're meant to like hold a pen far away and then focus and then keep looking at it until it touches your nose. But my eyes ping back out. They don't go
Well,
to my nose.
I didn't know mine were doing this, right? But I did it last night, and my eyes were all over the place. They were rolling around. I thought I was looking, I literally thought I was like cross-eyed looking at this pen. So I looked back on the video, and literally, I'm like that freaking guy from Mr. Deeds with the massive boggly eyes. I was like, what the hell?
That's probably what I'd be like because I know I can't do it. The optician's woman, she told me I used to have to do it all the time, but I never did because it would strengthen my eye muscles and then I'd be able to do it. But I was like,
Yeah.
am I really fussed about the fact that I can't go fucking boss-eyed? No. But like she was like, oh yeah, your eyes like ping out, and I was like, what? Do they? I couldn't feel them doing that.
We are 100%. If you don't know, we've got Kill and Chill, the podcast on TikTok. We're 100% going to have to do this trend together
Oh
when you're
yeah.
here and just watch our eyes go all over the freaking place. Oh my God, it's so awkward. So embarrassing. I didn't even post it on mine. I saved it as a draft.
Some of mine, I'm like, oh, thank God I put that to draft. Like some days I have a roll with TikTok, and I'm like, right, yeah, done about 30 today, so I'll put all these in the draft for later dates. But then I'll go through some of them, and I'm like, oh dear Lord, I'm glad that's went to the draft. That can then I'll go to delete.
Oh, I know exactly what you mean. I've deleted a good few in my time on TikTok.
Yeah. If I was to go through my TikTok reel now, there's probably a considerable amount that need deleting.
Yeah, just don't do it. Just don't do it. You'll
Yeah.
ruin your day.
Ignorance is bliss.
Yeah. Just let it come back to haunt you in 10 years' time. It'll be fine.
Yeah. Why not?
Well, I haven't heard any deaths happen during my
Fine.
Alibi podcast.
Yeah, we've had no screams, no crashes, so Connor must still be alive. Woohoo!
Good. I reckon we should call this one the Alibi.
Yeah. Alibi.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
enjoy our weekly song and we'll speak to you next week.